that if you haven't already. My question regarding the letters, this Mr. Mineski, and again, it's just for purposes of background. I know we say here after a public hearing on July 8th. Do we want to go into detail as to the witnesses that testified, the individuals who didn't appear perhaps, or is that something that was...
It's not something that we typically do.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I know that we've sent other letters of reprimand, and I just wanted to... I had that inquiry. I don't think that it's incorrect the way that it is written down, but I had that question.
I can't recall that we've ever sort of delineated what each witness's testimony was.
I have a problem with some of the language on page 5 of the letter. The statements that you write, Mayor Hernandez should be ashamed of himself. Mayor Hernandez should take these words to heart. The commission expects the mayor to take this reprimand to heart and hopefully guide him in future endeavors. I don't think those kinds of statements are professional. As far as being in a letter of reprimand, I think there's a better way to express it. I'm not sure what, but I'm uncomfortable with that language. Something of this magnitude.
And let me just add, because I actually highlighted some of the same ones that my fellow commissioner just addressed. There was one on page 4 where you referred to, in his mind, should be an embarrassment to any public official. Again, I'm not saying whether it's true or not, but in terms of the language, I think that it could be changed. And it starts with Mayor Hernandez's convoluted explanation as to why the monthly payments he received from Mr. Flores did not constitute profit, and in his mind should be an embarrassment to any public official. Again, I think that it's poor word choice. I think it could be worded differently. I'm very big on making sure that we say what we mean what we say, and I don't think that type of language, as well as what my fellow commissioner just mentioned there, he should be ashamed of himself. The one where make sure that their actions, well, that's fine. But making sure that their actions are fully complied with the law, I don't have a problem with, which is the paragraph before the last one. But the one where this public letter of reprimand should be taken to heart. It should guide his future behavior, but I'm not getting on past one.
Is that
Being
too soft or
being,
too hard?
I think that we need to change the letter and change the
For
tone.
me, I think it's too childish.
Okay.
Agreed.
You know, you tell an 8-year-old you should be ashamed of yourself. I don't think you tell the mayor of the city you should be ashamed of yourself in a letter of reprimand from this commission after we conducted a 2 or 3 hour trial. I think there's a better way to tell him that his behavior was against public policy and in violation of everything that he violated.
Yeah, I echo those concerns.
I agree. Okay, if we could do a redraft between now and the next meeting, and
That's what I think would be appropriate.
okay.
We all agree?
Yes.
As it stands now, I certainly would vote to approve. The next item up is Crespo versus Russo, and I do know that one of my fellow commissioners has recused himself when it comes to matters involving Mr. Crespo, which would mean that we wouldn't have a quorum to address this matter, unless you think otherwise.
I don't see any way around that, so
I don't either. And so,
concur.
and Mr. Crespo, I know you brought up the issue yourself, I know you're present, and regarding the issue for reconsideration, I know Mr. Melton, you're here, but they involve Mr. Crespo, and we wouldn't have a quorum, and I do agree that Commissioner Van Reen, having read through the minutes, she's the one that brought up the motion. Obviously, I seconded it, and I had certain concerns. I do think it would be appropriate to table this until the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
The judge has to provide a reason for the recusal. He just can't recuse himself. He has to provide a reason why he recuses himself, and it has to be a legitimate reason within the statutes.
Mr. Crespo, I understand that,
Definition.
and I'm just saying that at this point, we don't need the back and forth. You said your piece, and you said that in
I'm
the...
just pointing
in
it out
3
for the
minutes, And I
record,
know
sir.
because he's present, perhaps you're doing it again.
I'm just pointing it out for the record, you know?
Very well.
I'm gonna have a record of this.
Mr. Crespo. I fully understand that. I appreciate your comments, but it's inappropriate at this time to bring that up again. It's already been brought up, and we understand. As far as tabling it, as the chair, I'm going to make the motion that we table C-1505, the ratification of the letter, as well as there were some issues that were brought up by Mr. Melton that involved Mr. Rousseau, as we mentioned earlier, as well as Mr. Trump and the mayor of the county. So at this point, because it involves Mr. Crespo, and because Commissioner Nairine is not here, we wouldn't have a quorum. I think we need to go ahead and table all those issues regarding Mayor Jimenez, Donald Trump, and Mr. Rousseau until the next meeting in September. And I apologize for those individuals. I think council's here.
Mr. Chairman, just
Mr. Coffey.
respectfully requesting the issue regarding Mr. Russo's letter of instruction is something you would need to take action on, so you would need to have a quorum here. Would you allow me to bring up under the old business category to at least address some of the comments that were made about me at the last meeting concerning the Trump complaints and the Jimenez complaints? 'Cause I really think those need to be addressed. I've seen some recent newspaper articles where Mr. Melton just continues to misrepresent facts to the press and put out there in the public things that simply are not true. And I think they need to be addressed sooner rather than later.
I can appreciate that, Mr. Borowski. However, because we don't have a quorum today, and because my fellow commissioner will recuse himself, because this involves a matter that was brought up, the complaint was brought up, I understand that you may have those concerns, and perhaps there's another forum for you to address it. I understand that this would be an appropriate forum. I don't know what other forums exist for you to respond, nor am I suggesting that you do. I'm just saying at this point, I don't feel that it's appropriate. Again, I have another fellow commissioner here, and I welcome your opinion if you have any on this issue, but it would be my opinion that we cannot bring up this issue, whether it's new business or old business at this time.
Until there's a quorum.
You can write me a letter, I'll publish it.
Or,
Until there's a quorum.
Mr. Cresswell, please,
No, I just offered, he writes me a letter, I'll publish it on my blog.
please. Any comment as to that? Yes.
You made a motion to table the item. Has that been seconded?
Motion to table 1505.
I've made yes,
Is there a
and
second?
you're absolutely right. I motion to table 1505, which was the ratification letter, but there was also the issue, and I don't necessarily see it here, which Mr. Melton brought up. I guess it goes along with that letter, but it was more broad than that. I don't know why it's not even on, I don't see it here on the agenda, but perhaps it was to be included in that or brought up in old business. Nevertheless, I don't feel that it's appropriate, and my motion would be that we table that, and we table the issues that were brought up by Mr. Melton previously, because we don't have a quorum.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And at this point, we will...
There's been no vote by the judge.
I'm not voting, I recused
Well, then you-
myself.
then you can't take action at all.
So essentially, by matter of
It'll be
operation,
deferred, I think, to the next meeting.
we're tabling it to the next meeting.
Yeah, well.
But I understand where you're coming from, Mr. President.
Just
But
want it for
reality
the-
is, is
I
you
want it
can't-
for
you
the
can't
record.
vote. So I just want to be clear that our opinion stands that this should be tabled. And so at this point, as a matter of operation, that's what we're going to do, seeing as my fellow commissioner has recused himself from these matters. And I understand your opinion, Mr. President. So with that said, we will move on to the next order of business, which is